Right, I'm back for another video. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If you've not seen me already, I'm Rob Swan. Today I'm going to talk about rigs for F1 fishing with maggots. People often ask me, like, why do I go F1 fishing? Why it's so simple, boring, tapping pellet, tapping maggots. You know, it's one of the things is it's so simple that it lets you really get your head around it and you can figure things out. And it's when you make a change and it does make a difference, it's dead like rewarding, you know. And also, it's so easy to prep for. You don't need to have thousands of rigs. Like, I'm a busy person, I'm sure lots of people are as well. Like, people have got work, I go to uni, I've got a girlfriend, I've got mates. I like to do other things as well as fishing, which I love obviously, but I like to have a balance. So I don't want to spend hours and hours prepping if I can avoid it, which is why in winter, when you're not expecting loads of bites, you don't want to be spending hours prepping. You just want to chuck a few rigs in your bag, go and catch some fish hopefully, just to bide you through to summer. So F1 fishing's perfect for that. You only need one pattern of hook, a few sizes of it, one line, and then just a few rigs. And to be honest, one rig I'll set up on my top kit and it'll last me like matches and matches and matches, because you don't damage your line particularly. Change your hook lengths obviously, but other than that you might only need to tie a few rigs at the start and you're off. But I started my hooks because that's like a good place to start. Dead important but dead simple all the same. I wouldn't stress too much. I just use a size 20 F1 pellet for most of my fishing, just tied to 010 pure. Tied these up, not pure, pro. Tied these up during the last lockdown in March. Just fill the whole box, and I think that'll do me for like two, 3 winters, to be honest with you. But I just use a size 20s F1 pellet for single maggot, but I will put double as well, so that's why I'll use it. So you can just tie up 20s to 010 if you want, that'll probably do you. But I like to have 20s for like single maggot, and I'll fish that across and down the edges and stuff like that when it's hard in winter for F1s. But then if I'm fishing down the middle, sort of in winter again, like, and I know I'm going to be fishing double maggot, I prefer to fish an 18s F1 pellet. I know all the top boys like Bennett and that, they all use these hooks as well, so they're tried and tested, everyone uses them, it's no secret, but this is just what I use, so I'd let you know. And then I have some 010 to 16s, which will probably do me in spring, or if I'm fishing bread, but we're talking about maggots, so we'll not get too in depth about that. In terms of rigs, I've used loads and loads of different floats. I've tried light, I've tried heavy, I've swapped and changed, but kind of come back to the same ones all the time. So I'll talk you through my key ones. In terms of fishing across on snake lakes, this is for F1s. You want to, if there's no wind and you've got good conditions, I think light is better, but not stupidly light. Like I've tried in the past to fish like 4x8 floats, things like that, and there is a place for it, don't get me wrong. If you want to set up all the rigs, sometimes a really light float will get you an extra bite or two. But in terms of recently what I've been doing, when I don't really want to be setting out 1,000 rigs, and I've been drawing well, well, I drew 2 spade, that's about as far as it got this winter. But in terms of float wise, a 4x10 RW winter maggie, I'm confident with them, I know how to fish, I know how to shot them. Well, I kind of guess, but I always figure it out on the bank. So I just shot them up as far as I think is right in my room, and then I just add shots as I go on the bank just to dot it right down to how I want it. But yeah, it's got a nice thin bristle. I think it's 1.2 mil, so I can shot it right down. I know I'm not going to miss any indications. In winter, you don't want to fish too thick a bristle or too much bristle out. You want to dot it down as much as you can do. I like to fish a little bit of back shot in winter, as well as a nice long line. I think that's important because the water's dead clear in it, so you want to keep your pole tip away from the float. That's always a must. I fish an 0.15 main line, N gauge. I've used it for years, everyone's used it. I've not had a single issue with it. I've never been broken unless I've been doing something stupid. I've never just like thought, oh, well, that's just broken. It's never happened to me personally, so, and loads of people have had success with it, so I think N gauge is the one for me. I've talked about this in the past, but yellow hydro is perfect for this sort of style of fishing. And then I just string my shots out nice, and I think these are number 11s, nice and light. I think some people use number 10s, but if I can get away with it, I'll just fish number 11s, just string them right the way up. Once I've plumbed up, a little tip, I just put, I think I've seen Jamie Hughes do this first, I'm not sure, but the first person I've seen it anyways, a little shot underneath my float just to mark my depth, because obviously everyone knows line stretches, but I do have a little marker on my top kit as well, which is just my electrician's tape. But yeah, strung out shots, and then just have 6-inch hook length. All my hook length is 6-inch this time of year. In spring, I will move more towards 4-inch hook lengths, but I think this time of year, dead easy 6-inch. I use my little gizmo, and they tie 6-inch perfectly. So, and obviously you can use pre-tied hook lengths to 011. I think they're probably just as good. I always keep a few of them in my box in case. You never know what you're gonna run into. Or if you're fishing like snaggy pegs, if you want to use 011, if you just want to have a bit more push behind your rig sort of thing, I just go into my box, pull out one of my pre-ties, and away I go. So that's like my fishing across in about 3 foot, because you want to fish in 3 foot and probably 4 foot and then down the track, and then same depth down the edge. That's my sort of general rule for commercials like snake lakes in winter. So 4x10 for like 3 foot, and then if I want to fish like down the slope, which actually in the last match I was at Partridge for the Christmas match, I caught best. I drew pretty bad, to be honest. I drew peg 35 on Cobra 2 for anyone that knows it, and I only ended up with like £20 or something like that, £18 I think I had. But the change I made was I went down the slope and fished in 4 foot instead of 3 foot, which you think wouldn't make much of a difference, but it caught me all my F1s on the day. So I always have that rig set up, but I tend to use a bit of a heavier float. I just fish a 4x12. This is another winter Maggie from RW. Back shot again, same main lines, same shotting, but, well, not the same shotting actually. I just use a little bulk, because obviously on these, when you're fishing a bit deeper, there's no really, I don't think there's much point of having like a really slow fall, because you're fishing for them fishing the final like bottom of the rig, because you've moved down the slope for a reason in my sort of mind. And obviously when you're fishing a bit deeper, you want to keep your rig a bit more stable. It's down the central track, you're moving down the slope, there's going to be a bit more toe possibly. So I think just as a general rule, if you fish a bit of a bigger flow, I just put a bulk and one dropper. So just got 6 inches hook length, then a little number 11 dropper, and then got like little bulk number 10s and a couple of number 9s there, just to stabilize the rig really. And I've also got my shot underneath my rig. But yeah, dead simple really. I've got a little small guru pole pop, but I'll talk about them separately in another video. But yeah, that's my like down the slope rig. And then finally, which is usually the banker rig if you're drawn on some fish, is the track rig. So obviously when at the end of the day, if you've ever fished commercial snake lakes, you'll know a lot of the fish gather up in the central track, and hopefully that's when you class them later on. That's the plan anyways, but I've had it before when you can't get a bite, and I've had it before when you've had like 10-15 fish in the last hour. So obviously I use a pink hydro through a long kit, because that just means even when it's winter, because it's through a long kit, it's softer, and obviously I want to be getting these fish in fast, even when it's cold. Like that's the time when you might need to catch 90% of your fish in 1 hour. So you don't want to be playing fish ages, you just want to get them in, get back out, hope to catch another one. Float wise, I still use a 4x10, 4x12 winter Maggie again from RW, because I just think there's not really a need to fish a 4x14 when it's flat calm. If it's windy and there's a chop on it, I'll just up it to a 4x14s, just because it just gives a bit more stability. I can put a bit more shot down my rig, hold it still. But for this, I just have a little bulk, like sort of 18 inches from my hook, and then I have like 2 number 11 droppers just spaced out 6 inches apart, just for my hook length, just because it just gives it a nice slow fall towards the end, and hopefully as soon as your rig settles up, it just goes dink, and then you catch one straight away. That's the theory anyways. But yeah, same hook lengths, just use an 18 F1 pellet like I said on the track rig when I know I'm going to be using double maggot 90% of the time. Bit more positive in it, bit of a bigger hook. So, and then same main line, and then I just use a medium pop this time, but I'll get onto that in another video. But yeah, that's my F1 fishing with maggots in winter, which is what I do a lot of the time. It's dead simple. If you're looking for a way of not doing much prep, then I'd recommend going fishing for F1s on snake lakes. That's my rigs anyways. So hopefully you enjoyed that video. Please subscribe to the channel, that'll make me dead happy. So, and other than that, I'll see you on the bank soon, and tight lines.